Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Vitamin C podcast. Or should I say, Vitamin Creep. It's Halloween, the spooky times. So we're going to be talking about spooky stories on this episode.
We also have Kyle here because
Kyle's
it's 10
here.
seconds before the last cast.
Cody, I swear to God, if you keep rubbing your feet on mine.
That's the scariest of all, homosexuality. Anyways.
It's like a 1980s ad against. Like,
Ooh.
By the way, in my recent recommended, I did find a really old PSA, like 1950s PSA, of like anti-homosexuality, but it just turned out to be an anti-pedophilia thing, but they thought pedophilia was just homosexuality.
bro, it was literally like,
Like,
literally
it made
old
no
man
fucking
creeping
sense.
on, like a
Yeah,
17-year-old
it was,
kid.
no. It was like these kids, right? They'd be at school or playing baseball, and then they get in some random creep's car, and then the one kid ends up just getting
not-
fucking killed.
Anyway,
And the other one
welcome back to the Vitamin C podcast.
We talk about murder, but not pedophilia.
Ooh, pedophilia is terrifying. Anyway, so,
Don't ask.
I'm not even gonna timestamp this one because it's, the 29th.
This is the same
of
fucking
one as the
time,
other one.
everything.
We're
This is
just
coming
back to
out.
back.
This is coming out Friday. Halloween's over, unfortunately, but that gives us ample time to do shit.
Correct.
So,
Now then,
yeah.
today's first topic of conversation is scary stories. And, scary stories are fine, but, I'm looking for more personal, sort of, happened to me, possibly traumatized me as a child, that kind of thing. So,
Since Kyle's the guest,
yeah, I guess, Kyle, if you would like to start off, you
Go
can.
first.
Yes.
indubitably.
Tell us your scary story.
Well, that's the first time. I was definitely
Eren
very-
Yeager.
Eren Yeager.
Eren Yeager.
I definitely was
nuts.
very personally involved. I don't. It was more or less affecting someone else that was in the whole situation, but I definitely was part of the whole thing. So I used to go to Christian camp.
Oh!
Oh,
Spooky.
used to sit around and read the Bible.
That is not a vampire. That's just almost like an angry Japanese man.
That's like an old Japanese man struggling to walk.
We used to sit around and read the Bible.
Read the Bible.
Eren Yeager.
Taro.
So basically, how it would work, it was actually crazy. So the camp had very strict rules.
Fair.
No one out of their dorms, basically. I think it was like 11 or 10 o'clock at night.
That's fair.
If you're caught, you're sent home early. Pretty fun. It was pretty fun, yeah. Very strict
Whoa.
rules. However, so there was multiple churches that came to this camp. It was a bunch of churches, different churches that came together. And we all.
Church.
My church was the cool church because our counselors made a game out of it.
That's
They would drive around
What?
in golf carts with flashlights, and if they caught you, they would send you back to the dorm and just laugh about it. Have a good
Oh,
time.
what a
That's
good
fun.
guys.
So we did manhunt.
Oh, hell yeah.
We did manhunt while avoiding the counselors. Really fucking fun.
That does sound
sounded
fucking
fun.
fun.
However, we took it too far,
Uh-oh.
as 16, 15-year-olds would. And we decided that we're going to go deep out and do another manhunt, but separate away from the camp entirely. Out in
Yep.
the woods. And we're going out, and past just a little bit past the camp area, there's a giant slope that goes down to this big open field. Completely open. And like a whole tree line and everything in the tires is open. It's like, this is perfect to do something like manhunt or tag or something. So this slope is deep. So we're all going down. It's like a group of like 20 kids, no joke. And we get down there, and the one kid's struggling because we forgot that he had an injured ankle. So he gets down
Virgin.
there. He gets down there just fine, but he's having fun with it. He's like, I don't care if I injure ankle. I'll feel worse in the morning, but who cares? So we're down there. We're getting it ready. It's like pitch black out. It's like freaking 1 a.m. And we saw a bunch of lights start just shining through the forestry on the other side of the camp thing. So this is not coming from the camp. This is not coming from the direction of the opposite side.
Oh.
So what do you think kids are going to do? We freak out and we all run up the slope. Mm-hmm. We all get there. We collect ourselves. And we all notice that a kid's missing.
Oh no! Oh no!
Feed him to the
No.
crocs.
So for about half an hour, we're running around looking for him. We told the counselors are out looking for him. And then one kid makes a suggestion that for some reason none of us thought about. Wait, that one kid, Kevin, he has a messed up ankle. You think he wasn't able to get back up the slope?
Oh no!
We go down there again. And what do you know? He's fucking down there.
Oh.
He's sweating.
Oh.
He's petrified.
Oh
Oh.
Here's the thing. So we get back. We're apologizing to him. We're like, sorry. We get back. Sit down. And he starts telling us about how when he was down there after we left, there was a black figure running around the field chasing him. The entire time. Over half an hour. He's freaking out. The dude's literally almost in tears. He's sweating. He's fucking white as a ghost.
No fucking thank you.
Dude, we're sitting there and we're like, you're joking with us, right? And like those lights, we started thinking back on it. It's like, that didn't look like flashlight lights. That looked like pure light coming straight from a bush. And he said there was a black figure who was running through the bushes and running out, going across the field. We were fucking, that was terrifying, dude.
What
No
the
fucking way.
fuck?
Dude,
Hell
we felt
no.
so bad because we were running for our own lives that we didn't even think about, like, wait, that guy couldn't get up because of his ankle. We had to help him up that slope. It was deep. It was
Jesus Christ, dude.
Dude,
That would have been the last
This
time
is
you
the-
saw that motherfucker.
This
No
is
one
the
slept that
day.
night.
This is the day you
I
found
wouldn't.
out. This is the day you found out that wasn't actually the kid. That was like a skinwalker,
Oh,
like
no.
in his
Oh.
body. And you took him back, and like you took him. He went back home, but he wasn't the same anymore.
Dude, that was like 6 or 7 years ago. So if he
Oh.
blended in, there's no convincing anybody otherwise. That
That is terrifying.
we were all scared just because we thought, okay, what if he's hurt?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
he might be hurt. Like maybe an animal got
We
him or
did
something.
not think that there was a freaking dark figure down there.
I would rather be chased by a fucking wolf than that.
He was in so much pain.
Yeah, he said figure. Like he didn't say like animal. He said, well,
He said he
I guess
couldn't make out, he said he couldn't make out details. It was just a black silhouette.
I guess figure doesn't have to be like
A black
human.
silhouette most likely would be pertaining to a human rather than a.
He said it
a
got
wolf.
close to him and he couldn't make out any details, even though it was close.
Not even height.
Huh?
Not even height.
It was just a figure. It was pitch. It was dark out.
It
fucking
was
dark.
this big.
There it was. A
It was
speck
a
of
fly.
dust.
It's one of those little.
Turns out I had dirt on my fucking glasses.
It's one of those little like, army men from Toy Story.
Hut.
Oh my god! But the idea that like light came from a bush and then all of a sudden some dark figures just fucking like out and
I'd
about
like-
like
Oh
oh shit!
Daffy Duck. But
I'd like to
Donald
think it
Duck.
was.
Donald.
I'd like to think it was Daffy after he slammed his dick into the car door,
After he
and
slammed
that's
his
what the
penis
lights
in the
were.
car
They
door.
were a car, and he started running out of pain, and he was just like,
yes, that was be your head.
because it's a
canon of his
silhouette,
trauma.
and he has black feathers.
No, my headcanon is that kid was a skinwalker. That was not the kid.
That's weird. He was walking perfectly fine after.
I need to find that kid's parents
did
now.
you-
I think
Little
the
did
bandages
you
are on the
know.
wrong side of the
No,
leg.
no. Little did you know, he's been hunting down every single kid from that night.
Like Final Destination.
Yeah, and
But like a
and
person?
you're the last victim.
Everyone left me for dead, and I will make them regret
Can you
it.
just hear your door bash in right now?
I'd get the fuck on the roof.
Last one on
I'm
my
out.
list.
I'd be out. I'd be out. I wouldn't do it. I'd be out.
Kyle Adel, John Wood.
I'd grab the knife and the picture of Jesus, and Knife Jesus would take care of him.
Knife Jesus.
Oh yes, the weakness of the story.
Yes, yes.
Knife Jesus always wins.
That sounds like
Him and his
That's
luscious
so bad,
locks.
like, I
him
couldn't
and his
imagine.
him and his McGregor locks.
Like I almost want to get that Skinwalker kid on this podcast so he can tell his side
I
of the story.
don't ever want him near me or my family.
Supposedly he's doing fine. I have not talked to him since I left that church.
You see, he says,
was
"Yeah,
like a
ever
year
since
after.
my injury," and he touches the wrong leg.
But buddy, dude, it was the other leg, and his face just kind of starts shifting and like splitting open. It's like,
yeah,
oh fuck!
it goes like liquidy. It's like and it splits open. Oh
His
fuck!
voice gets monotone. No, I'm pretty sure.
It gets like like Soul Calibur, the robotic voice you can.
Yeah, the fucking. Oh no!
Fuck.
That is terrifying. Wow,
Yeah.
yeah, that is.
Dude, I just remember like not being able to sleep that night, thinking like, bro, that could have been me.
That could have been. You could have been the ankle kid.
I could have twisted my ankle going up.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't have been alone. Actually, I would have preferred. Now he wouldn't have been alone.
If
then.
he didn't fucking hide.
There's nowhere to hide. It's an open field.
Okay, but he
He
said
was
he
just
was,
running around. That's why he was pale as a ghost, dude. He was fucking dehydrated. everything.
He could have also. It could have also
Oh,
been the
you know
fact
what?
of
If
like
he
his
was-
mind was playing with him.
Yeah, because
Like
the dark
he was afraid. He was like,
I'm not saying that was a figure there.
no, like
no,
it doesn't-
no,
But
no.
it's not less traumatic.
It could have. What it could have been was an animal, and because the human mind, and this isn't.
No, he said it was sprinting like a fucking person.
Yeah, it could have been an animal.
I mean,
It sprints like it was a deer. It got
Wait,
up
hold
on its
on.
hind
You
legs and
said-
just
It started Naruto running all around.
You heard the shadow clone. Like the,
It's like, uh-oh.
oh fuck,
I'm
Naruto!
stuck in a shonen.
Help! I'm stuck in a shonen. Is that the next anime?
Bro, okay, so being stuck in a shonen would be actually terrifying if you're a side character.
Yeah, no shit.
At any
Absolutely.
point, you're off.
I'm pretty sure there's
Absolutely.
comedians on YouTube that have made that joke though.
But
They made
yeah,
whole
that's
skits.
terrifying. You said you had creepy stories. Is that the only one?
I could try to cook up another one. Let me think.
Do you
Well, no,
want?
'cause I
Do you
wasn't
want
sure
some
if you-
time? Because I could totally throw out my ghost stories.
Okay, Cody, go ahead and throw out one of your ghost
Yeah,
stories
well,
while we.
I'll take some time.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, me and a person from my past many years ago.
Many years? What the fuck was that? Fucking PewDiePie? Many years ago.
I don't know. I was trying to do like a 50s thing. It didn't work.
Many years.
But so we were stupid, young in high school, and so we're like, yeah, let's go on walks. Yeah, let's go to a cemetery and chill out and look at shit. And we didn't fuck with anything. You know, we weren't disrespectful. We weren't like trespassing really. We were just chilling in the cemetery. Well, motherfuckers followed my ass home, and I worked at Lowe's, which is I think my first job. And I'm like in my bed, and I wake up to like shaking and shit, and I look up, I'm like, okay, is the room shaking? Nothing else shaking. I'm like, I look at my phone, I'm like, okay, there's no earthquake, nothing's happening, no tremors, whatever. So I'm like, I go back to sleep, wake up again, I'm like, motherfucking stop, bitch. Like, I'm trying to fucking sleep. There's no wind, because what happens is, when there's high winds, like hard winds and storms, my room doesn't really shake. It just is very abrasive against the walls and ceiling, but it doesn't shake or
I
anything.
see what you mean.
So, and there was no earthquakes, no tremors or anything like that. And then at one point, I opened my eyes and I'm like, what the fuck, dude? And I can see my alarm clock dead ass because it's the black alarm clock with the
red
red,
letters,
the
red
hardcore
red,
red
yeah.
blaring light, and I could see it clearly, perfectly, and then flicker, full ass, like man silhouette. Right here,
God.
looking down at me, and I said, "All right, fuck off." And I said, "I'm trying to fucking sleep. I gotta go to work tomorrow." And then it kind of fucked off for a few minutes. Then it kept waking me back up. So I got out of my fucking bed and I said, listen, fucking asshole, I got shit to do. You're fucking dead. You have nothing to do. Get the fuck out of my house. I got shit. I'm still alive. Sorry. Get over it. Stop being a bitch and just move the fuck on. And so I was done with his shit. And then I think I was able to sleep after that. And then sometime during the week, he decided to fuck with my shit. And you remember my microphone had the blue light on it?
I do.
He was fucking with that. And so I'm like, all right, asshole, you see that motherfucker on the wall? That's his house, not your fucking house, his house. He
His
has,
house.
yeah,
How long has that been there?
that's been there longer than the knives.
How long the knife's been there?
Not
Longer
that
than
long.
the Jesus.
Not, but I literally,
long as
I said, look, this is my house. You have no business here. Fuck off. Leave this place. You know, you're dead. You can't do anything about it. Move on, pussy boy. And that was, then they fucked off. All of them fucked off.
Well, that's the thing with supernatural events like that. Like, if you have a strong enough will and you're
Oh,
like,
I
hey,
straight
don't
up
fuck
told
with
him
me,
straight.
Usually the ghost will be like,
He's like, whoa. This one doesn't give a shit. And like, I'm a proponent for, I'm like, okay, it is completely viable and possible scientifically that there are alternate dimensions that are connected to this one. Don't doubt it for a second. So spirits, yeah, probably. But also, there's this time when I was younger, apparently. This is my mom's story. Whenever I did something bad, my mom just happened to fucking know about it. like not know what I did, but knew.
Oh my god, you had a tattletale ghost who would
Yeah.
like run downstairs to her like
Apparently, yeah. Apparently, it was like a little girl or whatever.
Oh, of course, it's the same girl that that told on you for saying vagina.
Fucking bitch. It is the same one. No, but she essentially
teacher
did this
was like,
thing
"What
with
girl
my
are you
mom's
talking
phone. She essentially did this thing with my mom's phone, where a static would come out of her phone out of fucking nowhere, and it basically was telling on me.
Yo, is that Electro's daughter?
Probably. Yo, the teacher from Shark Boy and Lava Girl,
What?
Mr. Electric?
Mr.
Lopez?
Electric. Yeah, I don't know.
George
Which...
Lopez is possessing your mom's phone.
Son of a bitch! Like,
Damn it, it's George Lopez again.
fuck you, George. No, no, but
Oh,
it would tell on me, and for years until I got to a certain age, and then it's like, okay, he's old enough, he doesn't give a shit. But every time,
He's jerking off.
What?
you think I'm joking?
He is?
It would tell her if I was jerking off. It was fucking obnoxious.
What?
Yeah.
I imagine this little girl goes like, you're jerking off, you like look over and you just see her standing there like, and you're like
With a
"Don't you
pouty
dare.
face. Don't you fucking
dare.
don't you
And
do
she's
it. And she's
bolts
like,
and you're
she's crawling up the wall like backwards, like looking at you.
Don't.
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 What is
Just
this?
Don't.
What is this weird Adult Swim cartoon
But-
coming up?
But it's right. But essentially, if you go downstairs and look on my parents' bedroom ceiling, you'll actually see the hand marks and everything.
That's not cool.
No, but they
You have
stopped.
pretty high
They
ceilings.
what ended up happening is like we cleaned it off and they came back because there was something there. But at this point, I don't think there's anything there now. Like I think they're gone.
Yo, if you're up here, don't you tell on shit.
You're telling me, you motherfucker. Keep my
don't
porn
know where
history
you're
out
at.
of this. My porn history is vital.
This isn't about you.
Vital to my survival. But essentially, but the marks are still there, and we just never cleaned it. So
That is weird.
if you go down and actually look, you can see it because it's in the middle of the fucking room, all over. It's
Yeah,
random.
it's not weird at all.
Yeah.
Look,
But-
if you're gonna be a ghost,
Then-
why the hell is your method of transportation crawling on walls and ceilings?
Fucking-
Can't you just
'cause
walk
they're
like
an
a normal
asshole.
fucking person?
Absolute asshole. Can you at least float so you don't leave anything?
They just float.
Like the fuck.
Go
I found
float,
fingerprints.
right?
I found fingerprints. Yo, if Nick was here, he'd be all over with the phasmophobia memes right now.
Get the gaydar out.
Yeah.
See how gay the ghost is.
Oh, yeah. baby.
Oh baby. But
I guess I have like.
I have one more. And
Oh,
it's
do you?
brief, very brief.
All right, let's hear it.
So me, you remember Kevin?
Hi.
Me, Kevin, and my
Spacey?
mom were outside.
Kevin
no,
Spacey, yeah, yeah.
no.
Actually, it was Kevin Bacon.
Kevin Bacon.
Kevin's bacon.
Hell yeah.
But we were outside, and I don't remember what we were doing. We were just chilling out, and my mom caught like a photo with her iPhone, and she took a few photos of like Kevin or whatever, and there was this white smoke like thing like trailing behind him. And it wasn't like, I mean, I guess if you're going stereotypical ghost, but it was like somewhat like, I don't know, like it's either a ghost or it was an angel, assumedly, or some shit like that. Because
Nah,
it was
dog,
it was like a
angels-
pure white. It was like a nice white, but it had like a smoke after effect.
Nah, dog. Angels are blazing rings of gold and eyes and wings.
I don't know, man, but it was basically like trailing behind him only in one photo.
Weird.
And I took the photos like this. I took the photos like it phone wasn't defective, never did anything, never glitched, never did anything again. And she rarely ever updated her phone. Like it was not the phone. It was straight up something there.
Weird.
Maybe. If games have taught me anything, it's that if it's abnormal, it is an enemy.
Like it knew I was taking the photo.
In any way,
It's
shape, or
like-
capacity.
You
It
are an
saw
enemy.
the phone go up, and essentially when I hit the button, it was like, "Fuck my
It
tail."
was trying to get out. I was like,
It's
It's
all that
Phantom.
ghosts have slow reaction speed.
what you got? You didn't get the ghost. You got what's left what's left over after the ghost is trying to get away.
Yeah, I got
It's
Danny
just like-
Phantom's trail essentially.
you got his fart.
Yeah,
Fart
his,
cloud.
But
his ass
okay,
cloud.
so I do have like a small little like I don't know about ghost story. I could have just been delirious, but like
Oh, so you're a skeptic. You're a skeptic.
skeptic
What
of are ghosts real?
Before we go into yours, like, what was everyone's like viewpoint on ghosts?
I love
could.
how small the scientific
I don't see why
community
not.
is. Like the brain.
I'm atheistic, I guess, in a way, about it. Or agnostic.
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 Yeah,
I'm atheistic.
Atheistic.
I
I
don't
don't believe in ghosts. I'm not afraid of no ghosts.
I'm like,
Clearly, you believe.
I have
Your
my
stories.
own rendition of belief, but essentially, there's a
knows.
God. Jesus existed.
Well, not religion. It's about ghosts.
No, we're not talking about
But
religion.
no, but
that's-
like
we-
I'm
we
just
can
saying
throw
in
a whole
general.
other can of
But what I'm
worms in
saying
there.
Is it
also
tying
is
into
like
your religious
I'm
beliefs?
yeah, somewhat. And essentially I'm saying that I believe that like science is incorporated into it. And before anybody says it, no, Scientology is not that. Scientology is not science and religion together. It's a fucking cult. That's what Scientology is. Stay the fuck away from that.
The same could be said of all religions.
But essentially,
quote from Castlevania.
I'm like, okay. The sad part about the scientific community is that they're like, yeah, this is impossible because we don't have definitive proof. But at the same time, oh well, you don't know. Like they're so fucking small brain when it comes to actually thinking outside the box, because the issue stems from like that whole like, oh, if you don't have proof, how do I know it exists? But then again, there's no way to get the proof, so how do you know it doesn't exist? You can't disprove it or
Right.
prove it.
Like I said,
What are your beliefs?
And I'm not. What do you mean?
What are just your beliefs?
I just think there's a dimension attached to attached to Earth that could or could not be tied to religious things, but it doesn't fucking matter. Like I don't think a ghost is inherently the soul of a human. I think it can be if somebody gets stuck
a
there,
race.
but I think that's a sort of. I think that could be a
lucky, though.
form of purgatory. I think it's a form of purgatory that could be. It could hold like bad spirits, human spirits, spirits from just anything, really anything from the planet.
It's a neutral pool of
See,
spirits.
I'm a very agnostic person in regards to anything, religion, ghosts, aliens.
I mean, the truth is,
Well, aliens,
nobody
I believe.
fucking knows. No matter how much you
Aliens have
think
the
you
best
know.
chance out of all the supernatural stuff. Best
Basically.
chance.
No, no matter how much you think you know, or you believe, or you have all this proof or evidence, nobody fucking knows until they die, and they can't share that secret. End of story.
We might not even
That's
know if we
the
die
truth.
because we could just die and there's nothing.
Exactly. That's
Anyway.
the fact.
So,
Let's not get into that.
No.
that's a whole can of worms.
Who
for
says we
another
deserve
debate.
an afterlife? Religion can exist without an afterlife.
Damn. You motherfucker
Mind
over here
blown.
is- some motherfucker over here is spitting some shit over here.
Okay. Continue.
Damn.
Continue.
Uh,
So let's hear your stories now that we got everyone's view.
yeah. Everyone's views on religion. That's great.
Now let's
I'm glad
get
we
into
got that.
politics.
I have never said anything about religion. Do not incorporate this.
Why? You were at a church. You were at a church group.
Ah! I see how you turned that
Christianity does not go against homosexuality.
This isn't about. Don't even.
All it says in the Bible is don't forget to fuck. That's all it says.
Cody, holy fucking shit! This is not about religion. That's not what this is about.
Keep bringing it back.
Holy
Sorry.
fucking shit!
That's the episode's title.
The
It's
thing
not
is,
about religion.
the thing is,
Let
like,
me
I'm
tell you why
not
God is
talking to you
dead.
guys. The thing is, like, exposed. Jesus exposed.
You play the hardcore Christian, you play the atheist, I play the middleman.
I'm not a hardcore.
Both of you can be right.
Or left.
Oh, I was about to make the joke. You fuck.
No. All right. Okay. Vitamin
Jesus.
creep episode.
Vitamin
huh?
yeet.
The most terrifying thing of all: religion and politics. Anyway, no. So, I had a story actually last Saturday. As recent as that. It could have just been me sleepy, but I got home after hanging with the group over at the other house, and I came home. I got all ready for bed, and I laid down, and I was all cozy, and I was like,
This is pretty
and I-
late then. We usually hang out super late.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
You
this
told
was
me about
late.
this.
This was late.
That
What?
This was like
4
3.
a.m.?
This was like 3-4 a.m.
Yeah, we
So,
usually
like-
hang out till like 2 a.m. and then by the time everyone gets home and comfy, it's
Yeah, no, I laid down and I was nice and comfy in my 4 a.m. bed, and I was like, oh, this is nice. And like I was starting to drift a little bit. I was like, yeah, sleepy time after a nice little hangout with all the guys. This is great. And then while I'm trying to sleep, I swear to God, next to me, the dog isn't there, the cat's not there. I swear to God, I just hear like right next to me, and I just like open my eyes, and I like look over. There's just nothing, and I'm just like laying there like staring, and I just like slowly turn back around, and then just close my eyes and go to sleep.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie.
I swear to
You
God,
need to
I
pull
heard
the
that.
shit that I did. Like, if you ever think there's something in your house,
Well, that's the first time I've
just
had
be like, "Nah, get
something
the
like
fuck
that.
out. You don't belong here.
never-
Get the fuck out."
You never had experience of that?
I've never personally
God's house
had
or
like
something, I
ghost
don't know.
experience myself. So like something that I can't explain, like I was like, okay, maybe I was just sleepy and maybe I like sighed and I just heard it.
Yeah.
But no, it's just like a and it's like
Yeah, that's not even a sigh of like relief. That's like a like intentional. That's
well, my brain also might be fucking with like it could have just been like a or like something like that, or like it could just be me fucking with it. But like I was like, the dog's not here.
woo.
The cat's not here. Cat's not gonna sigh like that.
Hallucinating when you're extremely tired is not rare at all.
Yeah, which is
Matter of
why I
fact,
think maybe that's what it was.
I actually have a horrible habit of hallucinating when I'm very tired. I'll see dark figures and shit like that.
Yeah, no, I've never. Thank God.
Oh, wow,
I've never
yeah.
been.
I'll turn around and it looks like someone's directly next to me and like instantly disappear. That's why I do not like to sleep deprive myself because I hallucinate bad.
I don't really
But that could
hallucinate.
absolutely be it, dude. Like
Anytime anyone says anything about sleep paralysis demons or whatever, I always
Ooh.
just say, "Man, I
Yeah.
hope my sleep
Ooh.
paralysis demon's hot."
Bro,
I don't really understand sleep paralysis.
I can't imagine being stuck like paralyzed and
Yeah,
just
I
opening
don't
your eyes and seeing
understand.
things.
I've never done that. I
And
mean,
then
I've
not being
seen
able,
things-
not being able
like,
to do a damn thing.
I guess
and it's just there.
I guess I've seen shit like after having a bad dream or something, but I never had sleep paralysis, or I've always been able to will through it.
Oh, I have another vague, kind of brief story before I get into the nitty gritty, the real grits.
The real
I
potatoes.
remember. So I seem to remember when I was younger, I would have these states. Have you ever had these states where like you're in the state between sleep and being awake?
Oh, you talking about the apple?
No, well,
Because that's
Kind of?
pretty much what that was.
no, that's different. But no, like I remember like being asleep or whatever, and then I think it was storming that night. Like it was like a thunderstorm, whatever. I'm fine with thunderstorms, no big deal. But I remember like sleeping, and then like there was just like a thunder crack, and I just remember like jolting awake.
Yeah.
But like I didn't feel like I was awake. I like jolted awake, and like everything was like blurry, like around like the edge, and like kind of slow. And then like it was just like a snippet, and that's like all I remember. Like it could have just been me waking
go
up
back to
really
sleep?
fast. Yeah, it could have just been me waking up like really fast, and then like
That could be a form of
drifting
sleep.
back.
I've had
Like that
things
was
jolt me
terrifying.
awake.
I was like, what
Sleep
the hell?
paralysis. Sleep paralysis basically is just your mind's awake but your body isn't.
I think that's what it was. Like I haven't
That's
had
sleep
anything like
paralysis.
that.
You know
since.
what? You know what? I think I know what you're talking about because I've had that as well, where like something jolts you awake, like just a noise. It could be usually for me, it's either a person making a noise or like a natural, just noise that happens if somebody closes a car door too loud or whatever. But this also brings me to a topic I was going to have on the last cast. Have you ever had that feeling like when you just get into bed, you close your eyes, you're in like this perfect place, and then out of nowhere your body just thinks it just fucking falls,
Oh, yeah, that's
and
common.
then it
That
scares
is
the
common.
shit out of you? Like,
Bro,
what the fuck
that is
is
so
that?
common.
Like, what is that? Like I'll be laying down and then it'll feel like my legs just went dun, 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 like fell through the air, and I'm like, what the fuck was that?
I always thought about that, dude. It used to happen. It happens.
You
to
know what
me
that
every
is?
now and
That's
then.
them trying to take your soul, but they drop you.
Yeah, that's what they say.
You can take these nuts, bitch.
You say that, you just disappear. Like, oh,
I just drop.
Gmod death sound.
Wow. I had no idea other people experience that. I thought it was just me.
No, that fall thing
all
is
the
super
fucking
common.
I have,
time.
one
All
of-
the time.
a
I
reoccurring
fall.
a reoccurring nightmare I have. I guess we're getting into nightmares for now, but whatever.
Sure.
One of the
Yeah.
reoccurring nightmare I have is me falling down. I fell on the steps when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like hardcore, hit my head really hard.
Ouch.
I ended up
So did
fine.
I,
I
yeah.
think I had like a minor concussion, something like that. But
Kids are troopers.
I had a recurring dream where I would stand at the top of the steps and purposely jump and tumble down and
There
fall.
goes
the
my
And I'd
hero.
fall-
There goes my hero.
That would have that recurring thing. Thank you.
You're welcome. Make it better for you so you know.
I would fall down, and it would just like randomly, for some reason, loop back up to when I fell, and I would keep falling.
Oh my god!
fucked up,
Oh my
but it's
god!
funny.
I'll get you!
And every time I would wake up, at that jetty feeling, I'm like, I
Is
was
that-
falling.
What was that
Yeah.
animation? What was that
That
fucking...
was Girl
where he-
Chan in Paradise.
Yeah,
dude.
where he kept
all the way on
falling
the
down the
75th
stairs.
floor. No match for me.
and he just falls down the
So
fucking...
classic.
But,
But yeah, no, that happens all the time. Like
That
I'll do
scares
that.
the shit out
I'll
of
have
me,
that
but
No,
sitting
it's just me
down.
'cause I have that
it
dream
jolts
all
me awake every time.
Yeah, I will
and it
have
pisses
that-
me off.
I'll have that sensation sitting down. Like I don't know if you've ever noticed, because like I feel it. I don't know if you ever notice it, but like sometimes if I drift off, like maybe up in the car or something,
Yeah.
and like fall asleep,
And then you go...
and then like no, like I'll like my legs will like kick down real fast. Like they'll just
Yeah.
fucking like, I'm like
Yeah, that'll happen to me
Oh,
too.
fuck.
In school, what would happen is I'm leaning and then I just like you know, like
Yeah, like your legs
I,
will, like,
I feel
hit the
like I
ground
fall
real
or
quick.
whatever. Yeah,
it's like
Fuck,
When
I
I-
wonder if it's your body falling asleep and
Talking-
you're not ready for it.
yeah,
I
I
don't
think
know.
that might be it. Because also, back in high school, there was a time where I was like in a study hall. I had a study hall back to back or whatever, and I was basically sleeping, and then the bell did that thing where I almost fully stood out of my seat, but like my body was asleep. So when it jolted, it couldn't push through the sleeping bones and joints and whatever. But like,
Bones, yes.
my
well, yeah,
sleeping bones.
but essentially it was like just jolting and everything. But on the thing of dreams, it's a little more serious. Ooh.
Oh, this isn't scary anymore.
Well, I mean, it scared the shit out of me.
This is supposed to be the vitamin creep.
But here's
That
the
is the scariest thing 'cause
here's
you're doing it to yourself.
But here's the thing, right? So there's only, I think, 2 times in my life when I got to a certain age, like past, I guess, when I got into the teens, there's only been 2 times since my early teens that I've been like cold sweat, jolted awake, or whatever.
I haven't had one
like
of those
that.
in years.
Well,
And-
I haven't had one in years, but like I remember, like,
Yeah.
one was especially traumatizing.
Oh
Really
my God.
traumatizing.
Yeah, the one I had,
fucked me up.
the one I had a few months ago was awful because it came true, kind of. So I'll tell you the first one and then we'll get into
I
the
got
sad
so
one.
many nightmares I could share, dude.
But the first
So
one
many.
was my only time where I ever had a dream where I fell to my death, as well.
Oof.
This was the first,
and then you
only...
died after by falling like a week later. I remember. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just I'm just a
I think I just
ghost.
re-recorded it before that.
Well, no.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm the ghost haunting the tumor that is on my dead corpse because you're my tumor.
Yeah, I'm the hallucination that.
So
his-
I'm the ghost of. Don't think about it too hard.
Since
Of-
we have this thing where I consistently read his mind without realizing it.
So
and
he's just my tumor.
The excuse is that I'm a tumor in his head and I'm just his hallucination.
But
Cody, stop talking to yourself. You're supposed to be talking to me.
yeah, you're right.
Yeah, who are you talking to, dickhead?
But essentially,
set up
I
another chair
fell
and everything.
fell to my. I was falling.
Yeah,
and
watch it spin.
I was like, holy shit! I'm actually having one of these. I was like, at first, I'm like, huh. And then it started like it started going, and I was like, oh, I can feel it. Oh, this is terrible. And then I before hitting the ground, I woke up in cold sweat. And I'm like, well, glad I got that out of the way. And then I never had one ever again. And then so like that was the first time, and then the second one where I've been jolted awake was awful because before. Okay, so I think last year or whatever. I was chilling and I got a horrible dream, and it was like nowadays I don't really get nightmares.
Mm-hmm.
I get kind of like eerie feeling. Oh, this is fucked up, and
Feelings
it's
of dread.
this and dread and anxiety. And so I was going down like the driveway of my grandparents' house, and I pulled up and I went inside and I just noticed my grandmother wasn't there. And I was like, what the fuck? And then it was like this tone got set, and I'm like, oh, she's dead. And I'm like, oh, that's terrible. And then I just looked over, and my grandparents have this rocking chair, and my grandfather was sitting in it like this,
Damn.
just like
God.
lifeless, dude. Like he
That's
was,
creepy.
he was just like not like creepy, but like all the
still
like the
creepy.
happiness and life out of it
That's still like
was
depressing
gone.
and creepy.
And then my grandmother got sick at the one hospital, and she came out of it. She had like something with her blood sugar or whatever. I forget what it was. It was too much. Her sugar levels were fucked with her diabetes. And then after that, she was fine. I was like, okay, maybe that dream was for another universe as me. I'm fine. I'm good now. Look, we survived that. And then she got pancreatitis.
Pancreatic cancer.
Yeah, that
Stage
one.
4.
Yeah, stage 3, then stage 4, within 2 weeks, and died.
Yeah.
So that's actually why we didn't record the cast for a while, because I was
we took a break.
recovering from
took a
that,
leave.
and it still fucking hurts. Turns out, actual loss is not you go through this symptom. That shit lasts years, and you get depressed, you get fucking angry, you get irritable, you get fucking crazy. Like, it is random times. Sometimes I'll be having a great day, and other times I feel like I just want to fucking, like, cut all my ties and say fuck the world and just be alone forever. Like, it's fucking awful, dude.
I'd say the worst horror of life in general is loss.
It fucking sucks so much, because it wasn't like she
temporary.
got cancer. It wasn't like she got cancer and we were able to look at solutions. The solutions were like it literally came out of nowhere. Like that's what it does.
Pancreatic cancer does that.
It wasn't
It's just fucking.
It wasn't like
There it is.
because there are some cases where yes, you can catch it. This
You gotta
wasn't-
catch it early, though.
No, this wasn't the one of the cases where it had time to grow. It came out of nowhere. Like, you wouldn't have been able to catch it even if you had the tools to do so. Like, it literally popped up and
Can it
said,
accelerate that quickly?
fuck, that is how fast it came up.
Can they accelerate that quickly?
Yes, it is one of the worst fucking cancers. It is 2 to 3 weeks dead. Nothing we could do.
getting stage
The first
4?
week, till stage, like, from nothing to stage 4.
Damn.
2 weeks.
That's nuts.
Yeah. So we were waiting a week because she was hospitalized, whatever, in the beginning, and we're like, okay, what was it? It was something about like, okay, we're looking at treatments so that we can stop it before it gets too bad or whatever. This was at stage 2 or 3, I don't remember. And then I was being hysterical, you remember, and I was in full denial. So yeah, that was great. And so I'm thinking, I'm like, okay, we got stuff. He's coming back this week, the doctor, and they're going to actually see if they can just cut it out and be fine. Well, the day they were supposed to, it has progressed to the point where now you got to do radiation. And then when they're going to do radiation, can't do fucking radiation anymore. She's dying. And now, hospice. And then we did home hospice. So for weeks, I literally watched my grandmother die in the corner of the room. It was fucking terrible.
Yeah, it's never easy.
Actually terrible. And the worst part about it, I mean, yeah, that was all awful, but my instinct is to seclude myself and get the fuck away from anything and everybody, which is a good defense mechanism because it gives me time to breathe. But I couldn't do that during that time because of her wishes were be surrounded by her family and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And but essentially it was like what was I gonna say? It was like fuck. I literally lost my train of thought.
All I know is you were in full denial.
I was in
and
full
then
denial, and then I got
Once
to
it
the point-
actually happened, you got so fucking furious. At,
I
like,
was
all
so
of the
angry.
doctors and shit.
I was so fucking
Like,
pissed.
what could they do? Like, when it progresses that fast, there's nothing.
I didn't.
they
Well,
can
that's the
do.
thing. I didn't realize that, and my grandfather even got like one of the people who investigates hospitals and other things to look into it to see if because when they went on their trip originally, they were going to travel a lot, and my grandmother's been traveling for years, and it's one of the great things. But her and my grandfather were actually going to travel together and go on vacations and shit around the world. Florida, fuck you, Florida. Not because of what happened, but like, fuck you, Florida, you suck. Couldn't have been in a better
Amen.
spot.
Ouch.
Like,
Amen, bro.
Florida man,
Bring
eat
back religion
shit.
for
Nah.
that.
But if you're from Florida, I do apologize. I just talk.
I don't.
I've been to
But
Florida.
okay, I don't like
just
Florida.
saw that state
It's
off
so
and went for a while.
humid. It's so humid. Nobody likes you. Ouch. Get colder, nerd.
No, it's okay. Soon they'll be underwater. Anyway, continue.
Hopefully.
Fuck. Oh my god, Kyle.
Well, it's about damn time.
This is all satire. We're not legitimately hating on Floridians. Okay.
Or are we?
Shut the fuck up. But anyways, they went to Florida, and the Florida doctors didn't find anything. And we went to investigate to see, okay, did they just fuck up? Same with the doctors here.
Second opinion.
But yeah, and no, it straight up just came that fast. That was horrible.
Sometimes it's
But
just not the way you can
yeah,
do it.
the worst fucking part about the entire thing, I mean, it was horrible, but the worst part was my fucking dream came before all of that shit. It was straight up clear as day too. It wasn't like a normal dream, like a normal bad dream. It was like my current vision. You know how it's not really blurry, but it's not in high def. Like it's like 720. It's 720p.
720.
It's 720p.
720.
This entire
Already a little
fucking
too loud.
dream was in 720p. That's higher than any other fucking dream, even my worst nightmares where it was so vivid.
I think because it meant a lot to you. That's why.
It meant, dude, I
It's
woke
like
up,
how
I
to
woke
use
up,
this
I woke up
and
like this, like having a panic attack, and I was like, and I couldn't fucking breathe, and I was just like, that is fucked up, and I literally was, cold sweat, and I leaned up against my wall for like a good like 8-10 minutes just to like catch my breath, and I was just like, do I tell somebody I had this really fucked up dream? And so I think I don't know if I told anybody or not. I might have told my mom about it. I might have said I had a really fucked up dream where like mom died or something, and Papa was really weird, and he was in a rocking chair or something, and he was like, all the happiness and joy is just gone, and he's just like alone, and this horrible thing. And then that was my biggest fear when this all happened. Because then I look at my grandfather and I'm like, oh,
Oh,
fuck.
great. He's going to be that sad.
He's
old
gonna
man
be
in the
like
wheelchair-
that-
not the wheelchair,
but-
the rocking chair.
But like, I think that was almost like, I think the cancer was something that was going to happen. And was fucked up in
It
the
seemed
dream.
that way.
In the dream, she totally died of fucking cancer. Like there was no other. It was cancer. It was.
She died from a pack
it
of
was either-
rabid wolverines.
It
that
was.
came into
It
the-
was one or two things. The vibe, the dream, because it's your head, it's your mind. It tells you how.
Usually
things
tells
happen.
you usually do, like
It's-
context clues.
The
You can usually
two,
decipher.
yeah, the two things it gave me were either age or cancer, and I knew it wasn't fucking age because
She still
they
seems
weren't-
pretty spry.
Yeah, they were pretty. They were young enough, and so I'm like, oh, it's fucking cancer. But it really fucked me up because I'm like, son of a bitch. But I think the second part with my grandfather was more of like a warning. If I didn't do anything or try to include him or get him out of the house or do something often enough, he would become that, possibly.
Right.
Fair.
And
fair.
that kind of scared the shit out of me. So I've been going to my grandparents quite frequently because of that.
That's fair.
Good. It's good.
Yeah. He is getting better, though, ever since we put her to rest. Fucked up thing, my great aunt, one of my great aunts or whatever, I think on her side, also had like some really fucked up shit. And she was supposed to die a while back. Well, she wasn't dying. She was just in like hospice essentially forever. And then when they put my grandmother, the day they put my grandmother to rest, that morning, like 5 a.m. I think it was 5 a.m. she died. So it was it was really fucking weird. Like literally my grandfather was talking to another family member about her actually. And it's like, yeah, whatever. And like, she's still a blah, 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 blah. And then he got a phone call and he literally picked it up and it was like to tell him that she died. And it's like, what the fuck? It's like she was waiting for my grandmother to be put to rest.
Yeah.
It was almost
could
like
actually
I
be-
don't want to die until, like, let me be the last one to go type shit.
I guess.
That was fucking
No,
creepy.
no, at
dude.
the end of the day, when you really think about it, loss is one of the worst things of mortal life because it's gonna happen.
It's gone,
There's
and it's gone
nothing you
forever.
can
There's
do.
no repeat unless,
It's
unless-
something you can't fight. It's something that you can't. Even if you survive something,
There's-
you will die.
I think-
It's
Can't
just
predict
gonna
it
happen.
either.
I think there's
No.
two things that are
You could die tomorrow.
100%.
Who knows?
I think there are two things that are every living creature dies and rests. And I think that's an actual thing that like every creature actually has a resting period. It may not be sleep per
Well,
se.
that's like-
Even jellyfish fucking sleep or rest. They do.
I know, but
Like
Pretty sure
but
plankton
I'm
does.
pretty sure like what?
I think
Plankton?
they just constantly absorb sunlight, and that's it.
I don't know.
I don't know,
Either
man.
way,
I don't know. The
That's
video
why
lied
one
to
of my
me.
favorite one of my favorite quotes I heard recently was, I mean, it's not like mind blowing or anything. It's just that it's today is a victory over your past self, and tomorrow is a victory over lesser men.
All right, Senzu.
It's not. That's not from
I
Sun
know
Tzu.
it's not,
That's
but-
from.
I like that.
It's actually
You've
a
been
Japanese
listening to
prophet,
those,
or
yeah.
not prophet, but philosopher.
Yeah.
What is it again?
Today is a victory over your past self. Tomorrow is a victory over lesser men.
That's pretty dope.
So basically, the fact that you will live tomorrow means you're
Already
victor
surpassed
over-
yourself.
surpassed, yourself from before.
I'll prove that wrong by making myself a lesser man.
Hell yeah,
Again.
yeah.
Let's just do drugs and fuck midgets.
I'll make myself better that day before I make my. You know what? Continue.
Oh, you're gonna be on your diet and then cheat on the
Well,
weekend.
this isn't exactly where I thought the idea of vitamin creep got real today.
It did get real.
I
Sorry,
was hoping
that's
it
my
was
fault.
gonna just be like,
Well, because
ooh, spooky.
like it led into that, and it
got
kind of
thrusted
reminded
over.
me how scary it was to think about,
no,
and then it
'cause
came
yes.
fucking true.
Yes, because loss is the scariest thing in mortal,
Oh, son of a bitch,
mortal
dude.
life.
Dreams are nuts, dude. Dreams will do anything.
Yeah,
they
that
want.
was like a premonition, more like that was fucking
a
horrible.
deadly premonition.
Yeah, fuck that. Fuck you, premonition.
Bro, I think one of
It
the
did not
scariest-
help me.
Bro, I think the scariest power would be to know when people die.
Yeah, no, that'd
Yeah,
be the
That
worst.
shit would fuck
'cause-
me up
Dude,
so
I wouldn't be
much.
able to fucking sleep.
There's one thing. It's one.
I'd
thing
meet a guy, touch him, and be like, ah, well, fuck, I'm
It is
gone.
one thing to
Don't
know
even
when a
get to know
person's
him.
gonna die. It's another thing to live with it.
You couldn't
Yeah.
get to know people, and you constantly be distancing yourself because
Bro.
you don't want to know when they fucking die. You're gonna be
Imagine-
like, this is it, this is it.
Imagine you meet the perfect girl, dude, and like her death date is like a year from now. That would fuck me up. So
Okay.
I'd make the best of it.
I would, if there was a future with us, I would make best year
And that's
of
the
her
thing.
life.
Do you tell them? Because then that does that shift.
No,
when
don't
they
fuck
die.
with the order. No, don't fuck with the order because they're gonna die
Does
somehow,
it
some
shorten
way.
their life? Does it increase it?
They're
I
still
feel like
going
I
to
would-
die.
I feel like I would tell them if it was very short. If it was very soon.
I feel
Hey,
like
you're gonna
But
die
if
in
it
like
was
No.
if it was like 30
5
years
seconds.
If it was like 30 years from now, I'm like,
I feel like if
they're
you're a
gonna do what they can in
doctor,
30 years.
I feel like if you're a doctor and something comes up out of the blue, even though they're completely healthy, it is right to tell them, what about it, and they're like, what, they're gonna go through it. That's acceptable. But if they're gonna die regardless, like I feel like if you have that power, they're gonna die no matter if you tell them to avoid this or not.
Like imagine if it's a
Like
power,
something
like-
will kill them.
imagine if it's a power like if you make contact with somebody, you can just tell when they're gonna die. Like you could, possibly. I guess it could include like how.
All right, you know the
Unplugs Mike.
you know the day, not the hour or the second. You know
Yeah,
the day,
you
not
you
the
know
hour or the
you know the day, or you know what? No, maybe the year. Maybe make it even more.
So you don't know
year.
exact.
Yeah,
You
make
can-
it a year.
You only know
you
rough.
know the year they're gonna die, but you
You know
don't
how?
the day.
You know how? Yes, we know how.
Specifically, like
We know
vivid-
how, and we know
But-
generally when.
It's maybe specifically how the body's affected, not what it does.
Mm.
For instance, hit by a car, but more or less trauma to the head.
Could you
Even though
imagine
trauma
being
to
a
the head-
coroner? If you were a fucking like coroner or whatever,
Yeah, you would know
You
trauma.
you'd be like, okay, by this you could tell, okay, car crash, possible
wouldn't say-
upper frontal,
You
blah
wouldn't
blah
know
blah
car
blah,
crash. You would just say it would just tell you head trauma.
abrasions.
Your ability would tell you head trauma.
Well, if you see the dead body, there might be like a piece of glass in her fucking
This
face.
is no. You just know.
You know
details.
the year that it happens, and you know like how their body dies. You don't know how that
Oh.
occurred to them,
Like if they get hit by
So
a car,
you don't
just know
know
that they
if-
died of head trauma.
So it doesn't show. It doesn't tell you what's in their fucking face or what they're wearing.
No, it just tells you they died during this year, and this is the cause of death. This is how their body died.
Example: head trauma, heart stops.
Oh, okay. I see.
Heart stops, bleeds out, stuff like that.
Suffocation.
Suffocation.
No
Blah, blah,
bleed,
blah.
no
But it
breathing.
would not
Don't
tell
give a
you-
fuck if they cut their arm bleeding.
I hate you. So like those are the simulations. You know the year and how they die.
It's all
Okay, how do you acquire that information? Touch.
Yes.
Yeah, like if you make
It
contact
would most
with a person,
likely
you
be
would
touched.
know.
Could you imagine just looking at somebody and being like, "No,
Well,
no."
you'd enter a crowd of people and you would just see death dates, like you just see years.
You know what
so
that
touch
reminds
is
me?
better.
You know what that reminds me
Less
of?
traumatic.
There's two different movies that remind me of that, and I think there's an anime as well. There was.
It sounds very anime.
It does. Sound
There was. I
a
think there was a
Death Note,
movie
like,
where you could.
spin-off.
There was a movie where you give people minutes, and essentially that time is how much time they had left to live, and the rich were basically hoarding all of the time,
Sounds interesting.
and then from the poor.
It sounds.
and then
I imagine that'd be very hard to make a plot out of. Like a decent
Oh,
plot.
it was. I thought it
The
was.
concept is cool.
It was one of those movies that doesn't get a lot of like attention, but it's a decent movie. I thought.
You have to tell me about that after.
There was, I think I don't know if it was an anime or if it was, another movie, but there was one where you could see the price at like somebody's.
Oh, it's their value, basically.
It's either their. I think the anime was the value, and I think the movie was the time, or vice versa. I couldn't remember.
Well, it's one thing to have a timer, but it's,
I know there was a-
Shinigami eyes which allow you
Yeah.
to see someone's lifespan.
I know there was a short story or something where that like somebody's time left to live was above their head. I know that was a short story.
So
I believe.
basically, so with this new ability, it would be like, kind of like that, where you see the year, how they died, and it's only by death. Where,
Yeah.
what
Only
how
by
their body's
touch.
affected by it.
You know what's a cool movie?
And
What's that fucking Will Ferrell movie it's kind of old now. It's about a guy, his whole life is being narrated, and he's like, what the fuck? And he hears the writer's voice.
Stanley Parable.
No. but that is good.
damn,
no.
it was like 2010.
But it's a Will
Jesus.
Ferrell movie, and he's trying
Ooh,
all
oh.
his death is the end of the book, essentially, and he's freaking out, and he's trying to
Spoilers.
find the author. He's trying to find the author of who's writing this shit and stop her from killing him, essentially.
Interesting.
well, let's talk about this power. I'm really
Either
interested.
way, well, okay, yeah, we'll
Because
get
that
the
one,
rules of
he's
this
just
power.
doing everything routine, and then he starts hearing her voice, and he's like, "Hello," but she can't communicate back to him through this. Like it's a one-way thing. He can. He's like, "What the fuck?"
So how would you live with this power?
With the death touch thing.
Not death touch, Jesus Christ. they're not
But
killing
you know what I mean, like the
know-
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm really good at avoiding people in general because that's my instinct.
Okay, so like.
So
there's
I
only
would
so much you can
say,
avoid, though.
if
You gotta
I
think
thought,
about- you just gotta think about like people you hug, shake hands with.
if I thought, I could easily make up bullshit and say I developed a phobia or something about touching people, but also, I could limit myself to certain people depending on like, okay, how long is their life? I want to make those people's lives better. Hey boys and girls, this is Cody editing. I had to cut out a little bit here because, part of the audio's fucked. So, sorry about that. Continue. You know how I added hello, my name is, and you post basically like a hi, my name
Oh
is
yeah,
sticker.
you have your little
Yeah.
sticky note.
Fucking
D's.
Sean put D's.
Nice. Anyway, my traumatizing story. We'll wrap up the Vitamin Creep episode with this. So, I have already probably told this reoccurring nightmare a few times on the podcast, if not once.
I think you
twice, I don't
have.
know, of like the chainsaw.
Yeah, the
wielding
chainsaw,
scarecrow,
jack-o'-lantern,
yes.
scarecrow, whatever.
But I don't know exactly when in my life this occurred, whether it was before or after this date.
It was really early.
Well, it was either before or after this traumatizing event that occurred, and if it happened afterward, it doesn't surprise me. So,
It was like fall, around that time, around
Yeah.
October-ish. My mother and I was young at the time. I want to say 5 or 6. Let's go 5 or 6.
69.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Nice.
But
you had to be a voice actor.
Yada, yada.
Your voice is too nice on like recordings and shit.
Yada, yada.
It is. Both of your voices are god tier.
it is. But no, like no, we're done. Okay, no, we're done. We're done.
Okay, stop. Actually, continue your story, please.
It's like a fucking disease.
For the love of God.
It won't
It's
go
like
away.
these nuts.
Someone help right now. All right. So
I thought you were about to do the Scooby like row.
okay. All right.
Okay.
So my mother was taking me to this like little fairground. They were holding something that's called the Apple Dumpling Festival. The Apple Dumpling Festival is just like this little, little festy that they got going on, and they sell apple dumplings. Of course, they got like a beauty pageant for like Little Miss Apple Dumpling and like all that kind of jazz. It's almost like a county fair kind of thing, but not at the
Kind of
county.
like the Strawberry Festival.
Yeah, sort of like the
Yeah.
Strawberry Festival. But so we will go up there, and now here's where things start to suck. The same grounds that is used for that are used for the Apple Dumpling Festival are also known for being used for the October event of Shocktoberfest.
Oh damn.
Oh,
Same fairgrounds.
That sucks.
Try not to
So
hit the table.
we already had like a little bit of a red flag. Because like we're driving into the fairgrounds and we're seeing like these big tall cutouts of like scary looking
Yeah.
folk.
Yeah.
And I remember like looking up at him like, what's that all about? Like what's all that? And my mom and I got out of the car and like, the fairgrounds look fairly normal. It looks like there's still a Apple Dumpling Festival going on. So it's like,
Yeah.
oh yay, Apple Dumpling Festival, let's go.
Hell yeah.
So we were there and we were all excited. And I think my mom was going for some apple dumplings or whatever. We were just having a good old time. I think it was just me and my mom from what I remember. But then there's this long building, like single level, long building at like the end of the fairground. I can see it's like beige, and it's got like a rusty colored like door, and there's like a light, almost like a siren, right next to the door, like to the left.
That's already creepy.
There's like a siren there, and suddenly while we're in the fairgrounds, this siren, no sound or anything, just a yellow light starts going off. Starts spinning.
Oof.
And we're like, I wonder what that's all about. Suddenly, the lovely, wonderful time of going to the Apple Dumpling Festival with my mother turned into one of the worst nightmarish days of my life.
Really?
That little light went off, and like not minutes afterward, that door flings open,
Oh.
and motherfuckers with chainsaws run into the fairground,
Oh.
just like a posse of just like dudes with chainsaws
What?
charging into the fairground, and they're just like screaming and hollering, and they're whipping that shit around.
Are they on?
Yeah, well, they probably don't have the chains on them.
No,
for
that's
safety.
the whole thing. I don't
That's
think that.
still-
But
That's
regardless,
just
they
terrifying.
have the
Yeah.
chainsaws, and they're all just running in, and they're screaming, they're hollering, they're
At
whipping
at
around,
an
they're
apple
tackling.
dumpling festival.
It must have been like during the time of from Apple Dumpling to Shocktober. Like it must have been just like the changeover time. Like it was
Oh.
slowly
I
like
didn't
going
get the
into
memo
that.
that other people were still there.
But
Oh.
they just charge into this fairground with chainsaws, cackling and hollering, and there's
terrible.
kids there.
Yeah.
Kids with like their parents. I can't be the only kid who's experienced this. There was more.
Yeah.
Oh,
And they're
better have gotten
freaking
sued
out.
at the
They
end.
didn't
And
fucking know.
I remember, of course, crying my eyes out because this is like hell on earth. There's dudes
Yeah.
charging through the fairgrounds with
Yeah.
chainsaws
As a
in there.
grown man, that would have fucking freaked
I would have been like, "What the fuck,
I
dude?
was
My
6.
kid's crying or
I
something."
was like 6.
Like, you
My
piece of
mother
shit.
took me. You know those like Sammy's Fries stands, like the trailers. She
Yeah.
asked if she could take me and put me into the trailer And she had me go into this French fry trailer to get away from the fucking mad chainsaw dudes running around the fairgrounds. And what I didn't realize is apparently one of them was right up at my mother while I was in that trailer. Like, doing his shtick.
Yeah. Well, to be
It
fair,
was
they probably didn't tell
hell.
them either. They probably didn't tell them, hey,
To this day,
this is not the fucking time. They're still here for the festival, not this.
Also, they could just not give a
Like,
shit.
that's
They
just-
could have done it.
Yeah, that's just bad
well,
planning.
to this day, like, I can't hear a chainsaw the same way again.
Yeah, I noticed
I
every
can't
time you
hear,
hear
like,
a chainsaw, you kind
I
of like
can't hear a
meerkat.
chainsaw go off
You
without,
s-
like,
yeah,
looking in the direction
He
of
straight
it.
up,
get it.
he straight up meerkats every time, and I'm just like, I'm used to it because I'm like, somebody's cutting wood. like that's what it is.
Yeah,
for
well,
me.
in my head, it's someone's going to cut me.
That's crazy. Dude, one of my nightmares has to do with the chainsaw.
Yeah, well, one of my most reoccurring nightmares when I was a kid was like a jack-o'-lantern headed scarecrow with a chainsaw running through and tearing people up. And I'm wondering if that occurred after this event transpired. Because it would make sense.
Right.
Because imagine how much worse it would be if that nightmare
Sorry.
occurred before this happened. So, like, I had, like, scary chainsaw nightmare, and then fucking reality check, scary chainsaw men in a fairground.
That's fucking nuts, dude. I couldn't be able to handle that.
It was like I can't, like even like now, like I can kind of, ugh.
You know what's really fucked up that I just thought about? What if like little you was just chilling there and one of them came and whatever, and you just took out a deagle and flew, and just like, and the guy, the blood spurts out and he just falls over, and the other guys are just like, what? And then the kid's like, oh, what's it next? And he just goes gunning down the fucking, because he thinks it's real. Where did the kid get a deagle?
The most fucked up part about it is the fact that this was like a fairground with just fucking kids. There was kids there.
Probably old people too.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's a heart condition problem.
Bro, if that happened like yesterday, they'd be sued out the ass.
Oh yeah, that's a legal issue for
Sued out
sure.
the ass.
I mean, back then
I
it
don't
was
even know if they got
probably
it.
a little
Yeah, back
different.
then they could have gotten away with it probably, but
That's
like,
probably what
Because the
happened.
owners probably sit there like, haha, it's funny. They're just.
oh, look at all the kids cry and scream. This totally won't traumatize them.
We totally
Hey,
don't want
guess
business
fucking
next
what,
year.
motherfucker? I'm that traumatized kid.
D&D.
Oh. Willem Dafoe, that's what I saw.
Like that's why, like, whenever I would see something for like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like I would see like the
Oh, that
DVD
movie probably
case.
drives me nuts.
I would
I
see
think-
like the DVD case, or I'd see like a trailer
Yeah.
for it. I'd have to leave. Like I can't be here.
There's only
Damn, dude,
a
I'm
few
sorry, man.
horror movies that I was even able to watch. Like Freddy vs. Jason, not all of it, but like parts of it were funny as
This
shit.
sounds like a Mortal Kombat scene.
It pretty much was.
Well,
it was.
I mean, Leatherface was
funny.
in Mortal Kombat 10.
Jason wasn't.
Jason was.
Yeah, Jason was
Yeah,
in the same
11.
one as Leatherface.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um.
So that was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they
that's cool.
had.
From what I remember, Leatherface had some decent moves. too.
Freddy was in 10. If you had Xbox or the Walmart version.
They need to just add Freddy Fazbear and get done with. Bro, you can't tell me that shit wouldn't be hilarious. I think he's mad. What does the door even lead to?
I don't know.
Well, anyway, since I'm the guest, I feel like I should do the outro.
Yeah, you know what? This is fair.
I want to do
Vitamin
the outro.
Vitamin C, Vitamin Creep episode. Kyle, go ahead and do the.
We're doing outro. What the fuck is? Why do you have a skateboard?
You two over the head with it.
You know, what'd be really
I'm doing
fucked
the
up is if we ended this episode with a chainsaw.
Oh, yo, the cane's still in here.
Why did you recommend that?
That'd be fucked up though, because it would be funny.
Anyways, I'm doing the outro since I'm the guest.
Go ahead.
It's a special episode.
Go ahead.
Well, thank you for joining us in our wonderful night of adventures. I hope you are very pleased with the trauma we have shared with you today, and I would love for you all to experience your own. This has been
I had to.
trauma in any way that, whether it may please you or hurt you.
Do the Mr. Bean, the hoo, like the little where he's happy and shit.
But we will see you again, whether in the next podcast or your dreams.
Go check our social medias and go check out Miscellaneous
Whoa.
and Gunmetal Devil.
Ooh.
Ooh.